Hey everyone, welcome back to the fandom / the challenge fandom podcast.
For a little longer.
Just a little bit longer. Look, we didn't have an intro because we don't want to waste your guys' time just like the challenge did on Wednesday.
Yeah, y'all's time has been wasted
enough. Yeah. So we're going to kind of keep this episode short and sweet. We're going to let you know how we feel about this. We'll go over some of the stuff, but as you guys know, most of the episode didn't matter. So what we're going to say doesn't really matter about most of it.
Honestly, I'm trying to think, and I think that naming off the things that did actually matter in this episode would be easier than naming off all the things that ended up not mattering.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like literally all the way down to the freaking teams at the end. Like
So before we get too far, because I know I got called out on this before, you got me, Rick Hayes, my beautiful wife, Karina Hayes. Jesus, she's gorgeous. And of course, the beautiful Tony Stats and Info Lance. Welcome back, sir, from your sabbatical.
Yes.
We're glad to have you.
I was even here long enough to hit record this time.
Oh, dude, I'm so proud of you.
I was so close.
Look,
the time before last.
We went back and listened to some old intros, and we happened to get on the Wes interview. And some of the shit we were saying, it was just like, we should bring this back. This was good times because all we did was talk shit. Like, Karina's like, I see you're wearing gray today and not all black. I was like, yeah, I'm just trying to be one day better each single day. Maybe colors next month.
Yeah.
As you can see, that hasn't happened.
No.
Anyways, I digress. Let's get into this episode. Episode 9. Does anyone want to confess? And let's just set the stage. After last episode, we get the hype of CT winning a fucking pole wrestle,
what?
Proving the haters wrong in the house, and showing he still got it. Now, with that being said, he did go against Derek, who does weigh significantly less and is a smaller man than him. But Derek is a beast nonetheless and still put up a fight.
You know what? CT pro tip. It's better to be lucky than to be good.
Exactly. So, and then we see the preview. We know we got a mini final. We're hyped. I mean, like we were talking about it all day Wednesday. Like, let's go. And then we get this episode. So let's jump right into it. Let's talk a little bit about the intro. There wasn't a ton of stuff, but there was a few things. Honestly, first thing that I wanted to talk about is before we even get into like the daily and all that kind of stuff, we have the ANEESA and Ashley blow up, right? I guess it wasn't really a blow up because honestly, considering those two girls' history, it could have gone a lot worse. It's a blow up compared to what we've had the last few seasons.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those like, ooh, moments. Like I was like, okay, I'm ready. I want to see some feisty ANEESA. I want to see some Smashly. Like I'm ready for this. Obviously it didn't go there. ANEESA is older and
more
mature.
Yeah.
But I was definitely sitting there and waiting for the.
I love you, Cam. It's the truth.
They don't love her. You don't know her.
I don't know her. You don't know the I know.
I know her.
Kara? You can still care about somebody. I wish you would get in the got with me, bitch. You wouldn't leave it. How about it, bitch?
You are so gross.
You're like so gross because I lost 20 pounds and I'm hot now, so I feel like I can act any way I want. Suck my bitch.
I don't need a gauntlet, bitch. I will cut you with words. Like, I want that ANEESA back.
I literally said that to you. Yeah, I was like, where is we need
she?
Old school ANEESA, the one that yelled at me.
Yes.
I'm kidding. I love ANEESA. I love the growth. But here, I want to ask you guys this question. I want to dive right into this since we're jumping on this first.
Yeah.
And let's be honest. I want you guys to all be honest with me. Who was at fault in this? Was ANEESA out of pocket or was Ashley out of pocket on this?
I think Ashley was out of pocket for having the conversation after the conversation ended and continuing on now that she didn't have somebody to actually spar with and just had people to talk to about it.
She was holding court with the rookies and Theo there.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if Theo was really there at that point. I know
I don't even know if Leo was really there. Like it was basically Ashley and D.
Yeah, 100%. And look,
I hate to say it, but Dee's kind of putting off some fucking weird energy.
I wasn't happy with the fact that I specifically wrote, I don't like seeing Dee in this mix.
Yeah. And
It was very like, it was giving very much Mean Girl energy, just sitting there like laughing. And I was like, dude, this is just, it's just not a good look. And
look, I get Ashley's argument. Like, I'm just being real. Like, I was just being a realist.
no, you're being a bitch.
Look exactly, because at the same time, if you don't fucking believe in yourself, who else is going to? And I'm sorry, but fuck you for putting someone down for believing in themselves.
Literally, like
Trying to be under the code of being a realist. No, you're just being an asshole.
And ANEESA's like in good, like she's in some of the best shape we've seen her in, and she's competing fairly well. Like she's ahead of Ashley in points.
Yeah. Like literally, I have it right
she
here.
has more points than Ashley.
Ashley has 13 points. ANEESA's got 30. Almost 3 times as much.
Yeah, she's got quite a bit more.
And I'm always going to back ANEESA's play anyway. But like ANEESA, and also like even when she came back into the room, she came back in with facts. She stated what she needed to state, and then she left again.
And that's my thing is ANEESA didn't really come out of pocket. If you want to say she came out of pocket, it was at the very end when she's like, and you're still trash. And it was like, but at that point, like, look, I get it. Like certain people, when someone goes low, they go high. And Ashley's one of those people, when someone goes low, we're going to hell.
Yeah.
You know, I'm dragging you
She's
down.
got a shovel.
Yeah. But with that being said, as much as it was out of pocket and she was an asshole for saying it, I was highly entertained in that moment.
Oh yeah. No, it was definitely one of those things I wasn't like, you know, upset over, but it just sucks. It just sucks because it's like, you know, like you said, ANEESA is working her ass off. She's done really well this season, even in, you know, the shape that she's in. Like she worked hard to get to that compared to where she was at the last few seasons.
100%.
You know, she's had multiple surgeries over the last few seasons. So like to see her performing this well. And then, like I said, if it was like a conversation that you're sitting there having like with ANEESA as a friend, then, you know, that's one thing. But to be sitting there, like you said, holding court with people who don't fucking know ANEESA.
Exactly.
That's not okay. And it doesn't matter whether you like the person or not, because honestly, like all Ashley did in this moment, in my opinion, was make herself look bad. She didn't make ANEESA look bad. She made herself look bad.
And ANEESA was right to come back and be like, do you want to basically like, do you want to say that shit to my face?
Yeah. I don't blame her for confronting, you know, when she overheard.
Especially when you look at last season too.
Yes.
And like you said, it gives me girl energy. I'm sorry. It really does. It gives me, like, I hate to say it this way, but it's like, look, like I get fat shaming to a degree, right? But like, this is really, 41's really bringing it back this year. Yeah. Like it feels that way. All right.
Yeah, I agree.
One thing I want to dive into, because a bunch of us saw the clip that the challenge posted of Gabe and Cedric getting into it that we did not see in the episode. So I just wanted to provide some real quick context to this. So what happened was that fight was happening. Will and Cedric obviously share a bedroom, as we learned the other night, with Nani being in there in Cedric's bonnet. They ran upstairs, both in their boxers, like leaning in the doorway, watching what's going on. And Gabe got upset because he saw them laughing. What he didn't know is like Leroy stumbled upstairs, like putting his shirt on, looking goofy as fuck. And that's what they were laughing about.
Right.
And so Gabe and Cedric got into it. And that's what we see in the additional clip. I just wanted to provide some context to that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I did just want to like give massive shouts to, you know, obviously Gabe, you know, but also like Jake for stepping up like right there in that moment. Standing next to ANEESA and just being like, dude, this is not okay. This is not cool. Like, what are you doing? But what really threw me off about it was the fact that it was rookies that stood up for ANEESA in this moment. But we had Theo standing right there, and your girlfriend's best friend is getting ridiculed right now, and you're not going to step in to like try to
even just to calm the situation and try to just get ANEESA out of there. Like, I'm not saying he needed to like get up in Ashley's
Turbo
face
was
or
the
anything.
one who stepped in.
But
well,
yeah,
low key, what I heard, I caught part of the official challenge podcast with Will, and he said that Theo didn't start stepping up and protecting ANEESA until Olivia got up
showed
there.
up in the doorway.
oh,
And-
interesting.
And maybe it didn't escalate to that point where he felt he needed to. I wasn't there, so I can't really judge the guy, but that's what Will said
It's
on the
just-
official.
But even just verbally sticking up for ANEESA in that moment, the fact that it was Jake.
He might have, though. It's an edit. We didn't see everything.
All right.
With that
but-
being said,
It's an edit of her eventual partner.
yeah. And here's the thing. Jake is seriously giving off king energy.
I really like Jake.
Like, at first, I was super unsure of him, but the way he stuck up for ANEESA, wanting to be partnered with ANEESA, what he said online post this episode, like, I really am starting to like this guy, and I'm rooting for him.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree, because honestly, like at the beginning of the season, obviously, especially with like all the Bananas and D drama, and there were all those jokes about Will and Jake being like, they're the twins of the season, whatever. But Will was heavily standing out over Jake. And I think a lot of it was that storyline, and not at all to say like Will, because he is kicking ass as well. And we'll talk about Will here in a little bit, but Jake is like, he's all of a sudden just like kind of like just becoming this like shining star that's just every episode feels like it's shining a little bit brighter, and it's just kind of pulling my attention more and more and more. And so I hope he sticks around, because I really like Jake, and I want to see more.
And I want to bring up the irony of this is what Ashley was saying was ANEESA couldn't win because of athletics. She's not in good enough shape. But the only people that have lower scores than Ashley is Leroy, Theo, and that's it.
John A.
And John A.
A.
But John A has 2 points.
Been on for
Hey,
3 episodes.
Really quick, can we touch on that for just a moment?
But can I just make this final
Okay,
point before you get into that? The people that have more points than ANEESA, Olivia, Michaela, Sydney, Will, and Jeremy. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, Ashley? That's it. That's all I want to say. So you wanted to get into about John A.
I wanted to talk about John A's points. And I just kind of want to hear your thoughts, Tony. And then anybody out there listening, leave us your thoughts down in the comments or send us a message on Instagram. Let us know what you guys think. Is it fair?
No.
Because John A didn't even come in. When did she come in? What, episode 4 or 5? I'm not sure.
I think she came in 5, but I'd have to double check.
Yeah, it was 4
5
or 5.
6, right in there.
And so, that's a huge portion of this points part of the game, because obviously the points I'm thinking are done now after episode 9. I'm not sure how that's going to work moving forward, but out of these first, that's a significant, that's over half of the episodes, over half of the opportunities to earn points taken away. And so like, I didn't really like how they handled the point situation with John A. I would have liked maybe even if like Kara's points transferred to John A.
I agree.
I don't know. I don't know exactly how they would even fix that, but I just don't like, or she's just given like 10 to start with, or I don't know. I don't even know.
Or
how
get
many
matched with who's ever in last place as the vets. She gets matched with Ashley.
Whoever the bottom number is, you get, you start off with that amount, or something. I don't know. But I just didn't like the fact that she's only gotten like 3, maybe 4 opportunities to earn points. And she started out at literally 0.
Yeah. Jenga also is not a fan of the fact that she only got 2 points. Honestly, like, say she came in episode 5, that means that there would have been 4 dailies ahead of it. So it's a possible, 32 points if she would have got first place in all 4 of those, right? So at least split the difference somewhere, because if she's coming in, first off, if she's coming in to replace Kara, then I agree. She should have Kara's points coming in, or the lowest female. But the way that it works now is she doesn't really have a reason to try in any of the dailies other than to not get last, because really it doesn't matter to her, because no matter how she does, she's going to be at the bottom because she has such a hill to climb not just points. Like if you can look at points and say, yeah, sure, she only needs X amount of points to get to the next person. But that also means that she has to place within the first 8 consistently against the people that already have more points because they're consistently getting in the top 8 spots.
Exactly.
She would have had to finish first in this mini final and Ashley to finish last.
And for it to count.
And it to be basically either tied or 1 point within Ashley. Because I think John A has 2 and they would have got 12.
Yeah.
So that would have put her at 14 and that would have put fucking Ashley at 13.
Right.
You know what I mean? One final thing I want to say about this intro was, and I'm so glad you caught this, was the scene where Nani and Will go into the bathroom and then they come out and sure as fuck, the challenge will put a timer for that.
Yeah. So clearly you guys know how to put them on fucking screen. Can we please apply that to dailies?
Also, you know what? Shout out to Will. 7 minutes, man. Good for you.
7 minutes in heaven, as they say.
Yeah.
But also there's another point right after it where it was like 15 minutes later. I'm like, okay, so
yeah.
You clearly know how to count and put timers up on screen. So can we just, can we just do that? Thanks.
Okay, let's get into the main part of this, which is the mini final, which is titled "Broken Dreams," which
is broken hearts.
This
that's
is
what they did to me.
Accurately titled.
Broke my fucking heart.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, we're not going to get into the whole thing, but basically, they had to run uphill for 6 miles with 5 checkpoints mixed between eating puzzles, and then. It was the math problem, then food. Eating all the food, then the twisty puzzle, the chains, and then the word puzzle, purgatory. So I think let's jump right into the fact that define what we view as cheating so we move forward accurately in this. And I think we're all in agreement that cheating is not sharing the answer to a math, not sharing an answer to a puzzle, because we've seen that happen a million times, and that's just part of the challenge.
Or looking at somebody else's puzzle or anything like that.
I would like to amend the statement a little bit and say that it is cheating, guys, but we don't count it as cheating, right? Like, do I hate seeing it? Yes. And am I like, fuck, that's fucking ridiculous?
Yeah.
Yes. But at the same time, it's something that's happened in like every single season of the challenge ever. So if we were to hold it against people tonight, then it's just too much. So we're not counting sharing answers as cheating tonight during this discussion.
I would say, like, is it shitty and lame when you share answers? Yes. Is it against the rules set forth in the game? No.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad we got that all under accord, because I think that really distinguishes it.
Yes.
Now, as far as what happens at the end, I am not upset at the cast. I am not upset at TJ. What I'm upset about the cast is the one that we know for fact cheated.
Yes.
To me, I'm going to be straightforward. If I was in production, I guess we just had a really short season, because if half of you guys cheated, bye.
Yeah.
That's
we're fast tracking to the final because.
Yeah.
And I get that it's difficult, right? It's difficult to do something like that. They've already got so much money and everything into this season and this cast, and I get it. It just sucks.
I would literally put the season on pause and say, we need 5 more people. We're starting fresh. These are your partners through the rest of the season. Run it.
Okay. So
I like at that point, because to me, and can I go on a bit of a little monologue on this?
Go for it.
The big thing for me on this, and I am going to check my notes on this because I don't want to fuck it up, is what makes the challenge different from every other reality show is not only is it competition based, it's not about votes. Someone has to beat you in an elimination for you to leave.
Yeah.
So you could be the least popular player, the most hated player in the game. But if they can't beat you in elimination, you're going to the final and you have an opportunity to win.
Yeah.
So it is strictly based on luck, skill, and ability.
Mm-hmm.
But that needs to be refereed fairly. Once you allow cheating to happen, it ruins the integrity of the challenge and what we love about it.
Yes.
And that is my biggest fucking headache about this. Is production seems to not realize this. And it's not like this has just happened this season and a little bit in 40. This has been something that is consistent since Challenge USA.
Yeah.
And not only are we saying it, but multiple cast members are saying this shit. And I'm going to say this a little bit later as well, is the fact is that's why these other reality shows are better than The Challenge.
Right.
Is because they are fairly refereed and fairly kept.
Right.
The rules are clear and concise.
Yeah. No, and
that's it.
I agree. Like one of the things that I've been saying a lot to people in our Instagram messages, just kind of talking to fans and listeners, is that pretty much what production said to the challengers with this move is that we don't want you to cheat, but if you do it in a large enough group, there's really nothing we can do about it. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay as long as you do it in a large enough group. Now, I had a few issues that really stuck out to me for this daily, and obviously, like, you know, around the cheating. Number one, according to Derek Kaczynski, and he talked about this on his podcast, and I think a few other cast members have also mentioned this, there were only 2 cameras present on the entire field. There were only 2, and not just 2 at that station, 2 for the entire mini final. So 16 people, 5 stations, 2 cameras. First of all, that feels very odd to me. Like that feels like a very odd choice. Number one. The second thing that really stuck out to me is where are the body cam and the head cam that the challengers wear on every single other daily except this one? Where are those? Why weren't they wearing them? Why weren't they equipped with them? And my third question is, where were all the drones? Why did we not have any drone footage? Why were we not having drones at each station, especially something like the eating station, right? And number 4, and the biggest one in my opinion, where the fuck were the PAs? Why was there not a PA stationed at every single checkpoint to check, and maybe even multiple? You know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't understand the choices that production made just in the actual producing and filming of this mini final. The choices that they made make no sense to me.
None. And that's my thing. That's why I said Survivor. We watched the first part of Survivor where they're competing to get a flint and a pot, you know, the very first fucking episode. And guess what was done? Everything was clear and concise. And if there's never any questions on what happens with the rules, or if there is a very precise answer that Jeff gives. And he will call it right there, and he's there to monitor all of it.
Yeah.
And yes, was this under a much smaller scale? Was it only like 200, 300 yards that Survivor was doing the competition in? Yes, it wasn't 6 miles. And I understand 6 miles is a lot of ground. But even for this really small competition, I saw 8 different camera views of everything that happened. So
those are just the cameras. That's not the drones that they have going over. The comparison is not even real, in my opinion, between when you look at the production and filming quality and process for something like Survivor versus something like The Challenge.
So to further prove your point, you know how in the first part of the opening episode of Survivor, the one guy, his name is either Jason or Justin, and I don't remember which yet.
What team?
I don't remember.
Yellow.
Either.
Yeah.
So he says, I'm not sure how much behind the scenes we want to get, but I'm an alternate.
Yeah.
I remember him.
So,
Yeah.
I want to say it was 12 hours before they were supposed to start the game. 2 people broke the rules. They got sent home, and they brought in their alternates.
Exactly. Look, and it may sound harsh, but like you have video footage of D taking an onion and throwing it back. Why is she not being punished and held accountable? Why is she still on the show?
Right.
What I don't understand is I don't understand how, like, the one camera that they have the footage of D on is like stationary, and it looks like it's just like a tripod set up to get that group of people. But then when DK and ANEESA are like, what the fuck's going on? Like, everybody's food is in the bushes, and they're talking to production, and they're having a back and forth with production. I don't necessarily disagree with what ANEESA and Tay did, because they're like, there's no accountability. So why am I wasting my time being in last place when the people that are all ahead of us didn't do anything?
I don't hold it against John A, ANEESA, and Tay like I do the other ones.
Well, yeah, especially not John A, because John A is like, I have 2 points. What are they going to do? Put me back to zero?
Don't fucking care. Yeah, what are they going to do? Even if I got first, I don't get to pick my partner anyway. So
no, and I don't understand if they have the footage the way that they said they had the footage, which is to say that they had copious amounts of footage of multiple people who were cheating. I watched the edited version, and that's ANEESA, Tay, John A, Nani, Sydney, and D that I know of just from watching the episode. And I also know who didn't cheat from watching the episode, because they were the people that were the last to leave the food station that found the other people's food. So it's clear who didn't. It's clear some of who did from the edit that we saw, which means that presumably production has the rest of that to say, these are the other people. Like, that's the thing. It should be clear enough to see who did and who didn't. So they should be able to say, you guys don't get points. There's probably only 8 people who didn't cheat, so they get the points.
Right. Mm-hmm. No, and I agree 100%. I really hate this decision. And first of all, the first thing that I want to say about the actual decision itself to disqualify the entire cast and scrap the day, I just want to remind the fans that, first of all, TJ is our host. Okay. He is not Jeff Probst. He is not Julie Chen. He does not have executive producer credits. He is not a producer on the show. He is a host. Now, does production respect him and take his, suggestions from time to time? Yes. And that's out of TJ's mouth, not mine. He's done interviews about this. But this decision was not TJ's. No. So people out here leaving comments and tagging him and stuff.
No, don't do that shit.
And being assholes, being like, oh, I thought you hated cheaters, but yet you didn't do a single thing about it and blah, 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 blah. He doesn't have a choice, guys.
No.
TJ shows up, does what he's told to do, gets his check and goes home to his family. Like that's not his choice. Okay. When you see TJ be mad at somebody or like be mean and really come down on somebody, it's because production told him to do that. When you see him be really nice on somebody and you're like, why didn't TJ come down on that person? It's because production told him to do that. So can we just lay off TJ, guys? He's just the face, okay?
Yeah, the times that you see that is genuine TJ is like the moments he had with Nelson after what happened in Spies Lives.
Yes,
those are genuine moments.
Yeah.
And at the end, when people get eliminated and he has that moment to say, we'll definitely see you back, or we hope to see you back, or the way that he phrases that, that's on TJ.
Yes.
And I'm sure the interactions he has with the cast are very genuine.
Absolutely. And I'm saying like when he excuses somebody off the show, when he says bye or, don't take care, hope to see you never. That is his line, but he was told to give that guy shit. And TJ has talked about this numerous times, how production told him, go ahead and lay into that guy. Whoa. But then there's been other people who have, quit and gone home and they've told him, look, this person's dealing with a mental health issues. Go easy, be easy on him. And that's when you know what I mean? So,
yeah. And here's my thing is, in my opinion, first of all, don't write the cast. Don't talk shit to him. Don't do that.
Leave him alone, guys.
And in my opinion, the cast, I expect people to cheat because there is a saying in sports, which is if you're not cheating, you're not really trying. Now, that doesn't mean outright cheat and throw the fucking chili pepper that you didn't even take a bite out of over your shoulder. That means try to skirt the rules like how Devin tries to see around it, right? Like you bend the rules, you don't snap them in half and then throw them in the fucking bush.
Loopholes, yeah.
Like, so I'm upset about the cast about that.
Yes.
But I'm upset that production did not hold them accountable.
Yeah.
And this is production's fault. Because at the end of the day, and I don't know if you've said this already, I'm sorry if you have, but John A went into a confessional and asked a producer, do you have footage of who actually cheated? And they're like, we have tons of footage.
Yeah.
So pretty well. I mean, just from us seeing the edited version, we've got it down to where we are unsure on about 4 or 5 people. We could see it go either way. And then there's probably 2 or 3 people that we don't think cheated, but we can't
prove it.
Definitively say they didn't cheat. Like we don't
Turbo,
think Turbo, CT, Will.
Yeah, and Will. Like those 3, we can't prove it, but I really don't think think Will did the way he called everybody out. But
and then the other ones are like Olivia, Ashley.
Like who knows?
There's a couple of them in there that we don't know. The ones that we know for sure didn't cheat are Justin, Jake, America, DK, Leo, Adrian, and Michaela.
Right.
Those are the ones.
Those are 100%. We know they did not.
They finished the whole plate, and we can say for a fact. Everybody else, we're not 100% sure on. Obviously, CT, Will, Turbo, we don't think they did. CT's confessional after they announced the cheating, it doesn't read as he was cheating.
Well, also, like, the shot that you have of CT is absolutely like
just
going to town on the chili peppers.
Kobayashi.
Yeah. So, like, at what point, what would you throw out after that?
Well, and my thing is like, CT is literally eaten a sheep's face and drank a pint of blood. Like, he's not going to cheat on an onion and some garlic.
I've watched him just rip intestines and chew them like beef jerky. It is the wildest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Him and Tony. Wildest Tony Reigns, not Tony Stats and Info.
Yeah.
But I have IBS.
Yeah, same. So that's my big problem on this. And I know people in the cast, to kind of skip forward, gave Will a lot of shit about bringing this up in dinner. But to me, this deserves, what Will did deserves a fucking callback for the next 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah. We need more shit like that. Look, and here's what I'm going to say about the call out at dinner. The reason so many people were so uncomfortable with him doing it is because they were guilty.
Yeah, they did it.
Nani, the reason she took it so personal is because she was a cheater. The reason Theo took it so personal, as much as he wants to deny it all over his Instagram, there are like multiple cast members who are like, no, I literally saw Theo throw his food or whatever. And so it's like, come on, man.
Yeah. So we can't say definitively who did or did not on everyone, but we've got it narrowed down as much as what we just said.
Right.
With that being said, that's pretty much the episode. Nobody gets points. You waste an hour of time and then you get a dinner and team selection.
The daily is washed and scrapped.
Yeah.
No purpose in it. There's no elimination. And they, just to put the most infuriating cherry on top, these MRFers in production gave these fuckers this nice ass dinner.
Should have made them eat the rest of the onions and the fucking chilies.
That's what I'm saying. They should have fucking been eating onions and chilies.
So that's where they should have shown how they knew who cheated and who didn't. You all go to the table. Everything has the cloche on top. They take it off. The ones that cheated have the rest of their food, and everyone else has a nice dinner.
Yep. Like that would have been great. And honestly,
you have to finish this if you want to stay on the show.
Otherwise, you're going home.
Otherwise, pack your bag.
Yeah, pack your bags and get out.
It also lets everybody know who has the nice food. Exactly what Will said. You don't want to be partnered with somebody who's going to take you down by cheating.
Yeah, exactly.
And look, this whole scene changes how this season's moving forward, because right there, Will and Nani decide that they're not going to be partnered.
Oh, yeah.
Nani decides that quickly.
Nani decides that.
But Will is already starting to see.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not discounting it that it's all Nani's decision, but Nani cheated, and Will is still going on about people that cheated after the dinner and after the daily. So she's like, okay, we cannot be partners anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think let's get into teams, because that's the only thing that happens.
Let's run through the teams, and then we have one last thing to talk about. And then, we can.
Yeah, we'll get into everything else. So speaking of Will and how this affected the team and how it's going to affect everything else, Olivia and Will end up getting partnered. And this is, I think, one of the key partnerships here, because Olivia is on one side of the house, Will is on the other side of the house, and it protects them from both sides to a degree, because Will's associated with Cedric, Leo, all of them. They're all working together to a degree.
I just feel like when it really comes down to it, Will is the last man on the totem pole of that alliance over there. And so he's not really on that alliance. He's just there because he is a rookie as well. But I don't feel like he's actually in that group.
I think
they wouldn't have a problem sending him in my opinion, majority of that alliance.
The big thing with him is intimidation factor, that outside of Gabe, nobody wants to probably see him in a physical.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we get Olivia, Will, Adrian, and Theo, which a true UK matchup there. Then we get America and Leroy. I like that team.
Me too.
ANEESA and Jake is the one for me. I love this team.
It's going to be a good team.
Honestly,
I really.
The first 5 or 6 are, well, actually, like all of them. Everybody is fairly evenly paired. I really like Cedric and Michaela as a team.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
with
Sorry.
Turbo.
We didn't do these in order.
No. And I agree with Turbo that like he and Sydney are a great team if he can keep Sydney's in-house stuff not under control, because she doesn't need to be controlled. But like
he said she needs to shut up.
She can come off a certain way.
Yeah.
And it would be beneficial if she didn't always come off that way, because she is a great competitor. She's like Turbo is what she is.
She
like, it's the hubris of Wes on crack. So anyways, rest of the teams, Ashley and Leo, dangerous pairing both ways. Aviv and Jeremy, scary combo to me.
Very.
I think they cover a lot of bases right there.
Yeah.
Like you said, Michaela and Cedric, D and DK, Gabe and John A, Sydney, Turbo, Justin, Nani, and my personal favorite, CT and Tay. Tay.
Yeah, no, they're going to be a good team.
I like them.
Big shout out to Tay. It's literally just the fact that she, like, the way she talks to CT, the way she treats him, the respect she shows, not just to CT, but to the OGs, to the vets. And the fact that she's not letting all this chatter from all of her friends get to her. And she's like, you know what? Y'all can think whatever you want. I know what I'm getting into with CT, and I want it. I want it all. Bring it on. I love her.
The way
for that,
he asked her.
Oh my God. It was like he was asking someone out
to prom
or like to go on a date. He was so nervous, and it was like literally the cutest thing ever.
He played it up a little bit, but he was nervous. He could
was
tell.
so nervous.
But I real quick,
cute.
before we name our MVPs and LVPs, I wanted to say how ironic it was that Ashley talked all that mess and ANEESA was real fucking close and stayed at that eating station a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Secondly, really fucking ironic what D said and everybody else said. And if it wasn't for fucking Turbo getting the help on the puzzle or the math, and then the puzzle at the end, CT wins the mini final.
Look, I just want to point one thing out, okay? And I'm not going on the attack here. I'm just shedding some light. Okay? Just shedding some light.
Hold on.
We
shed that light.
Doodaloo. No.
That's what we need to do. I'll tell you later. Anyways.
Yeah. So we get the confessional from D, at one point in the daily where she's like, CT is great, known for being great at puzzles. And I'm sure he killed that eating thing and his cardio's gotten a little bit better, but I still would like never want to be partners with him. And, I was like, he doesn't want to be partners with you either. But anyway, CT ends up crossing the finish line second for the men, but he is the third overall person to cross the finish line. D got the math answer given to her, cheated on the food, got the word problem given to her, and still didn't cross didn't cross until she was the 11th person to cross overall. She was third for the women, but she was 11th person to cross overall. And so I just found that ironic. And honestly, it was just kind of one of those like moments for me. And I hope that maybe this opened her eyes. And I'm not saying because I don't want, just quick reminder, everybody, the mid-season trailer lets us know that as much as TJ says these are the permanent teams, they're not the permanent teams. I don't necessarily want CT and D to end up together at any point. I really don't think they'd be a good partnership, but I just hope this opened her eyes a little bit to like not just judge like the fact that you can't ever count CT out because he will fucking surprise the shit out of you.
So 2 things.
Sorry I stumbled through that so much.
Okay.
My brain is not connecting with my mouth tonight.
So 2 things. One, I heard Devin say this on the official, and it is so, she said it about somebody else, but it's true about CT as well. CT is a multiple time champ in the challenge. Multiple time.
Mm-hmm.
You're a multiple nights in the challenge. You're not on the same level, D. I don't care if you won Survivor once. CT has won the challenge 5 times and won Traitors.
Yeah.
Like he's not a fucking joke.
Right.
Let's stop pretending he is.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, how fucking ridiculous. Permanent partners, 30 seconds later, you want to switch partners?
Why? And look,
Why even tell us? Just keep it a secret. Let us be surprised.
Let us be annoyed later.
Yeah.
literally, we're already, maybe they just wanted to get like, all the things we would be angry about, they just wanted us to get it in this episode because I also found it really fucking funny. And this is my last comment. We can do MVPs and move on.
Yeah.
But I found it really freaking funny that on the day that the challenge was airing, the challenge official page was promoting the premiere of Survivor 49, which aired at the exact same time as the challenge on Wednesday night. And so I found that ironic when I first saw it on Wednesday. I was like, what? That's really weird. And then I went to Survivor's page and I was like, oh, are they cross promoting? Did Survivor promote the challenge? No, they did not. So then after I saw the episode, I was like, oh, this makes sense. It makes sense that they would want us to watch Survivor 49 instead, because I'd be fucking embarrassed putting this episode out too.
Yeah. Agreed.
Honestly.
Big ol' hey, look over there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
let's get on to something that's going to make us happy to talk about. But before we do that, let's MVPs, LVPs. I'm going to be quick with mine.
Mhm.
My MVPs are Justin, Jake, America, DK, Leo, Adrian, and Michaela, because I know 100% they did not cheat and they completed the whole fucking mini final and did what they were supposed to do. Honorable mentions to CT, Will, and Turbo, because I am fairly certain they didn't cheat, but I cannot say it with 100% certainty from the edit I saw. LVP is basically everybody else. Fuck off.
Okay.
Shocking that we actually have the same MVPs and LVPs. The only thing I will add is I really want to give props to Jake, to America, and to Tay, because they are the 3 that are the new threats who came in, and Jeremy to a certain extent as well, who came in and really didn't get sucked into like the mythos of the challenge or like get stars in their eyes when they saw certain players, but they gave the vets that they wanted to work with the respect that they've earned, in the sense that Jake stood up for ANEESA immediately. Jeremy's been trying to get Aviv as a partner for the last little bit and keeping his eye on her as his pick. America's been gunning for Leroy, and Tay hasn't really deviated from CT either. Like, it doesn't matter where their vets have placed. These are still the people that they were like, this is who I think I want to work with long term. And they followed through on that. So mad props for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Who you got?
Okay, well, I mean, obviously I agree with you guys.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to give a little bit more specific shout outs. So my main MVP, I am giving it to Will. I think that the call out at dinner, first of all, the fact that I truly believe he finished that entire thing without cheating.
Agreed.
And then the fact that he had the fucking cojones to call everybody out at dinner, not one by one, but in front of everybody, and just lay it on the table. Dude, just that is MVP behavior, and we need more of that shit. This whole like, oh, read the room. No, fuck that shit.
Everybody got served dinner twice.
Literally, yes. He was serving. He ate. He left no crumbs. Okay, whatever the kids are saying these days.
That shit was skibbity.
It was, yes. So I'm definitely going to give Will my MVP. Also big shout out, obviously, to CT. And then LVPs, I think it's easiest to give it to, like you said, the people we know for sure cheated. And then the only other thing I want to tack onto that is Ashley, because fuck you, you're a bitch.
All right, fair enough. So guys, we're going to take a brief intermission and we'll be back with some more. So, hey, we made the announcement last week that we were going to start diving into some different things and start exploring. And this episode of the challenge was a perfect excuse to do that for the second half of this episode, because as you guys could tell, that's all there was. And look, if you were only here for the challenge, we understand you want to tune out now. But some of the things we want to talk about is, as the challenge promoted, a new show aired this week, which is Survivor season 49. We got the first episode Wednesday night. And we wanted to kind of dive into a little bit of that because, you know, watching the challenge and then the next day going in and watching Survivor, it was just a stark difference in the production of the two shows.
Yes.
And I know they're not owned by the same production house. One's, I believe, Mark Burnett Productions, and the other one's Buna Murray. Both are great at what they do sometimes. But and that was to one company and not the other. But and let's not get it twisted. Survivor's not with its conflicts, and there's been some things that have been said about how they do things. But the one thing I will give to Survivor is they've always been fairly transparent in what they're doing to fix things.
Yes.
And it seems like they do actually have a pulse on a lot of what the fandom of Survivor says.
Right.
And I appreciate that. And I want you to kind of dive into some of the things that you noticed, because we talked about it, but you really were paying attention.
Yeah. So, you know, we obviously, like we said, we turned on Survivor 49 after watching what happened on the challenge. And so specific things stuck out to me, and especially like when they were doing their opening challenge. I know they don't call them dailies. Do they just call them challenges, Tony?
Yeah, it's like a reward challenge or
that's right. Okay,
challenge.
That's right. Yeah. Reward challenge or right. Okay. But one thing, like, first of all, one thing that I noticed that I really, really love the way that Survivor does is that they test every challenge that they're going to have the survivors do. They test it with, like, you know, a PA or
a grip
somebody.
They have a team. They're the dream team that run the challenges ahead of time.
Yeah. And they always show you, like, when they're previewing the challenge, it's like, so when you watch the challenge and and TJ's explaining what the daily is, the shots that you're seeing are shots of the challengers actually competing. And that's why we never really see like anything happen, because they don't want you to know what happens before you watch the daily. But on Survivor, when you're watching, it's actually like, it's not one of the survivors. It's not like a future, like a shot they got in the future.
It's somebody that works for production.
Somebody that works for production that tested the challenge. And I love that. I think that is like such an important piece, especially when we look back over, you know, like at the very beginning of this season with the elimination with Rogan and Justin, where Justin's wheel fell off the track, you know, or we go back to Horacio and Derek with the pegs. And, you know, just there's been so many situations, I feel like, in the challenge that the situation could have been avoided if they had ran proper tests beforehand. And then another thing that I really, really loved, and I think could have solved a lot of problems on this specific challenge that we saw on the challenge. I know this is getting really confusing, guys, but is on Survivor, they have definitive lanes and spaces for each person. And they're clearly laid out with, like, you know, even on this one, there was a portion where they had to go out into the water and, you know, pull a boat or push a boat back up that had puzzle pieces in it. And the lanes were clearly defined for each boat by, like, you know, these colored ropes. And so it was very clear, like, who was supposed to go where, you know, what color you were, you know, whatever. Like, it's clearly laid out. There's no question about where you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to do. And there is Jeff right there all the time. And again, I know that we kind of talked about this back when we were talking about the challenge earlier, is that we understand like on the challenge, the mini final was 6 miles. And right, this was a lot smaller of a space. So obviously Jeff could just kind of like be there. But I'm also almost certain that they probably had PAs and other people around watching the other checkpoints while Jeff was kind of
100%.
walking around. And I just like that. It just feels like they have control over what happens in these challenges and they pay attention and think things out all the way through. And I think that so many of the challenges issues could be resolved if they applied certain things like this.
Yeah. And Jeff also, like, after they do his actually explaining it, they then each tribe goes through on their own with Jeff and walks through it and asks any questions, anything like that, so that they're not asking questions in front of the other teams or the other tribes, but they are still able to ask questions so that they understand what they're doing when they actually go through. A couple seasons ago, I forget what season it was, but they would show clips on their Instagram account as to like how they did certain things, or they highlighted different parts of production. And so like they highlighted the camera people who set everything up for the challenges and showed like how they try to hide like GoPros and things sort of in inconspicuous places so that they won't be picked up by another camera, but it gives you a new angle so that they have kind of all their bases covered. But yeah, like the crew is like over 100 people easily that all have a base camp in Fiji because they've been there for so long now. Like they have like an area there and they have 5 or 6 beaches that they film at. But yeah, like they have it down to a science because it's been 49 seasons.
Yeah, right. And not to beat a dead horse on this, but you sent me the article on what you referenced earlier with the alternate coming in on this first episode of Survivor. And what happened was 2 contestants were breaking the rules and communicating before the season started, which is against the rules. And Jeff Probst and some production found out about it, and they were having a meeting. And then they found out like these 2 cast members were also being blatantly disrespectful about it. And they're like, we don't care how much money or time we've invested in you. You're gone.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to say that like the challenge should have like said, D, you're out of here right now. But there should have been a punishment.
Yes.
And at the minimum, because I know if something like this happened in Survivor, there would have been a punishment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They would have found out who all cheated and you guys get punished, whatever it may be. Yeah.
Now, I will say that this is just like an amusing story after the fact, but on Heroes versus Villains, Boston Rob and Tyson found out, and of course it's Boston Rob and Tyson, found out that there was like a generator that was running some of the equipment, and they took a rag and dipped it in the canister for the generator. And then when they got to the fire and they're making their fire, one of them threw it in real fast and it like lit up. And of course, normal fires built on Survivor the traditional way don't light up that way. So it was the next time that they came by, the generator was completely like padlocked.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
And to me, look, like that's not even breaking the rules. That's just bending, right? That's like cutting corners.
They were surviving.
They were surviving. Yeah. And like sharing help.
Right.
Helping others. That's not necessarily completely breaking unless you're taking like the SATs.
Right. But
it's bending.
Yes.
Right. And that's competing to me. And that's what I like. Like, are we going to punish you for it? No, but we're going to correct it so it doesn't happen again.
Right.
And there's not ambiguity in any of these competitions.
No.
Or if there is, it's clarified fairly quickly.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, right? Like with what you were saying in regards to the 2. So there were 2 people basically before Survivor, before you actually go onto the island to start playing, you're at Ponderosa, which is where people go when they're voted off as well. And it's where the jury ultimately stays. And they're all there milling around. They're not allowed to talk or communicate to each other. They can like make eye contact, things like that. They also have notebooks where they can write down kind of what they're seeing and people they might want to align with, stuff like that. So the 2 people that ultimately got removed from the game were continually talking to one another, and they were given warnings and things like that. And it just sort of kept escalating. And to your point, Rick, like while Jeff and one of the other producers was in a meeting about it, they got another call about it again, and they're just like, fine, done.
Yeah.
And
that's
they were
just
taken
enough.
out. First time it's happened in the history of the game. The fact that they dealt with it so severely and so quickly and brought in the 2 alternates with 12 hours before the game actually started, that's a testament to what they're willing to do for it. And that's also a good indication to don't try to talk when you're told specifically not to talk.
It
Because
sends a
like
message.
sometimes alternates get brought on same season. Sometimes alternates are out on a previous season and then they end up coming back. Jay was an alternate on Michelle's first season. Austin was an alternate on Dee's season, ended up coming in like at the very last minute. I think Shaheen was a alternate from like the season prior. And there are some other people like throughout from 41 to 49 that were alternates on one and then came back in on the other, or like when COVID was at its peak, somebody had gotten COVID, so they weren't able to come out for that season. So they came out a couple seasons later. So they kind of like, they're able to mix around a little bit like that. And that's sort of the benefit too with Survivor, where you don't see the same people every time. The downside is, and Rick and I were talking about this before we started recording, is sometimes it takes a couple of episodes to really figure out who you're rooting for.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because you don't come in knowing them, right? It's
100%.
And I hate to say it because I don't want to discount anybody who's playing the game, but sometimes the people who are gone in like first, second, third spot, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not good at the game. It just means that this dynamic wasn't right for them. Also with how the Survivor fandom is like on social media and stuff like that, it doesn't really matter where you place. Once you're on Survivor, you're in that mix and you're always in that conversation of, do we want to see them back? What can they bring in another season? Anything like that. So as you start to get a little bit further in, you see these people come around, and like Sydney made it to the merge on her season, but just by nature of the fact that her tribe was so good, they won every single immunity challenge leading up to the merge. So you only saw her for the first little bit when they show everybody's tribe. And then when they actually go after the immunity challenge, when they tend to focus on the tribe that's going to tribal council, you would never see her tribe again. So unless she did something specifically in the challenge, whether it be for immunity or reward, or whether you saw her in like the first 12 minutes of the show, you're not going to see her again.
And to your point, because it's a new cast, it takes those first few episodes for you to form that bond with the cast and understand, like, even watching this first reward challenge, my initial thought is, we've got 3 teams. I go into challenge mode, like, who's the dominant one? You can't really tell because it's a relatively short challenge. And also after the first, second, and third episode, after some of the teams have been slimmed down, some of them get strong and become all of a sudden the competitive team on there. And I am looking forward to that because it has been quite a few seasons since I've sat down and really watched Survivor.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to kind of getting back into it and getting into the flow.
Yeah.
With that being said, not a lot to cover in the first episode right off top, but we'll start diving more and more into it. And that kind of gets me into wanting to open it up to the fans and our listeners as well. As we have a general idea of what we want to talk about, right? Like, there are certain shows that we're really into that we want to talk about because we're passionate about it.
Yes.
Like, I know right now Karina is on her like 3rd or 4th watch through of Pretty Little Liars.
Mm-hmm.
And, if that's something you guys want to hear her talk about, let us know. And because this is the fandom podcast, or what we're turning into, we want to do what the fans want to see. So if you see something out there and you're like, you guys need to break this down, you're going to love it, or I really want to hear your takes on it, let us know. Hit us up on IG. Give us a comment, whatever it may be. We'll make sure we get to it.
Yes, definitely.
I know some of the themes off top that we know we want to talk about is Survivor, Traitors when it comes back.
I'm so excited.
We might look into doing Big Brother if they do something in the off season, or maybe next season.
Big Brother's just tough because it's,
So
3
much.
times a week, and it ends up being like 60, 70 episodes.
Sometimes 80, 90.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, I feel like our like ease into that is probably The Amazing Race this season because there's so many because it's Big Brother players.
That's a good one actually, and I want to watch that. So
I think we should do that. Maybe we do a reality TV breakdown outside of the challenge while 41's going on, because our ultimate goal is we want to get through season 41. We've committed to ourselves to finish out 41. It's turned out outside of this last episode to be a good season.
Yes.
So we want to see this through. And so we'll continue recapping the challenge every week, but they might be more shorter or abridged recaps as we start talking about The Amazing Race and Survivor. And then once we get into off season, we're going to bring in some other things. But some of the things that I want to talk about outside of reality TV is I like anime. And one specifically is Dragon Ball. And there is a lot of Dragon Ball content. Now, I still have yet to see Daima. I want to watch it. If that's something you guys want to hear us talk about, I know Karina gets into it as well. Tony, I know you have your moments with anime. It's not a true love of your life, but you enjoy it as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've fallen off of it a little bit just based on like, I feel like once you get far enough away from anime, you don't know how to get back into it because you don't know what is current or what is still a thing that people are rewatching. So yeah, like I'm totally game to get back into it. I need a guide.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's why Dragon Ball is such a great entry point for us because it is such a well-known, I mean, to me, Dragon Ball is being 12 years old again. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Or like, for you guys listening out there, if there's other animes that you guys think that like, we would enjoy, let us know.
I believe, like, I know Jeremy has mentioned to me, I think it's Demon Slayer is a really good one. I'm interested in checking that out. Some other things is we're sci-fi nerds. Like, we love Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, Star Wars, we Marvel. So we want to start breaking some of those down. One show in particular that we've gotten quite a few recommendations from friends and people we talk to online is Andor. So we're thinking about...
we've never seen it, guys.
Yeah, so we're thinking about doing a quick run through on that. And also, big one, and we're actually going to start doing this one throughout this next week and probably for a while into the future, is music breakdowns, and in particular, Taylor Swift's new album.
Don't worry, guys. The episodes will be separated. So if you are not here for the Taylor vibe, you will not be forced to listen to it. These will be separated from our challenge and reality breakdowns. But if you do enjoy Taylor's music, if you're a Swiftie out there, keep an eye out. Myself, Katie, probably Rick and Tony, we're all going to kind of jumble in and do some reviews and reactions and stuff like that.
Maybe some lyric breakdowns
and just kind of dive into some of the lore once the new album releases. And we might even take the boys on a little bit of a journey through some of her older stuff too. So if that's something you're interested in, keep an eye on the channel. And
I think one thing I really want to do on the music side is maybe revisit some older albums. And I'm not talking necessarily going back to like 2020. I'm talking like maybe go back to like the late 70s and go revisit Rumors by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh my God.
Or go listen to Journey. You know what I mean? And we want music recommendations, guys. Like literally whatever you guys are listening to, if you guys think it's something that we'll enjoy, and honestly, we probably will. Like between all of us, I was going to say, there's going to be somebody's going to like it. Yeah, we have a very eclectic taste, like individually, and then also as a group. So any music you're getting into, any artists that maybe are like, especially like maybe newer artists that you're like, yes, I love. Send them to us. Comment below. Let us know because we really want to dive into like new stuff too. I don't want to just explore the things I'm comfortable with. I want to find new stuff and learn about new, music and movies and books and shows and just literally anything. That's the thing too, is like we've talked strictly the challenge for so long. And when we talk about anything else, it's in our own like side chats, just outside of recording. And like maybe a little bit when we do our intros. So this really gives us an opportunity to not only kind of be the guide for our listeners and fans, but also for us to be the guides for one another. Like
you're on your what, fourth or fifth way through like Pretty Little Liars. I'm sitting at, I think I'm on my fourth watch through of Supernatural and my third watch through of Lost, but it's Sarah's first time watching Lost.
I've never
Like,
seen either. Yeah.
They're both fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like we're actually going back through and watching Australian Survivor right now.
Okay. I've heard that one's really good.
Yeah.
It's like 55 days versus 39 versus now 26.
Wow.
But yeah.
Also, go ahead.
While I think of it, I found out an interesting fact that ties both together. So Sandra was the first 2-time winner of Survivor globally. Turbo was the second.
That is
Oh,
interesting.
wow. Okay.
And he was the first to win back-to-back seasons.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
That's crazy.
yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So another thing that I think would be really fun too is to do like tiers, like go through and like rank, like go through an artist discography. I can't talk.
Discography.
There we go. And tier the albums, like, you know, which is the best. And this also lends to something I love doing. And Karina gets so fucking annoyed with me because I'll be like, who do you think the top 5 rappers of all time are?
I don't get annoyed.
Yes,
with
you do. Don't play with me.
I get annoyed because you ask the same one all the time. And I'm like, my answer hasn't changed.
No, I ask it about everything. It's just you get annoyed because you're like, I don't know. I don't pay attention. I'm like, I need someone to talk to.
Let me set the stage, okay? Because he wants to ask me questions when I'm literally locked into Pretty Little Liars.
You've been locked into Pretty Little Liars 24 hours a day for 2 weeks.
I'm locked in. I don't care.
Okay.
Locked in.
Okay. Anyways, with all of that being said, we also, like I said, want your guys' recommendations. So if there's something that we haven't mentioned that you really want, hit us up. We will dive into it. And we're going to start off slow probably for the next 3 or 4 months till we get to the end of the season, because we're thinking we've got probably 10 more episodes to go, maybe 11. So that puts us right at the 3-month mark. We'll probably take a little bit of a break for Christmas and New Year's, and then
we'll kick into full gear in the new rebrand. So that'll be a lot of fun.
And to our challenge fans that are stuck in through this episode and to this point, we're also going to probably break down All-Star 6, but it'll be in an abridged version, like we said.
Yeah.
And honestly, that still hasn't even been cast or left for filming. It's sounding like they're not leaving till January or February, which means we're not getting another one until May or June. And that means we might not get an actual flagship season for another year and a half.
And I'm starting to wonder if they're going to do that, if it's going to start alternating. Like 1 year we're going to get flagship, 1 year we'll get all-stars, 1 year we'll get flagship, 1 year we'll get all-stars.
Or if we get a USA 3.
I just honestly have Mark Burnett production buy out the challenge brand to fucking CBS and let's make this show what it should be.
Yeah.
And maybe Bunham and Murray can get their fucking shit together and not sabotage it and literally Shawn Michaels sweet chin music right to the fucking head is what they're doing. But
literally.
Anyways, I digress. We've already been on here longer than we said we were going to be on here, but we want to thank you guys so much for sticking around. Do you guys have any closing thoughts you want to add in?
I will tell you that for any horror movie fans, especially horror movies from the 90s, there's a book that just came out. It's called Your Favorite Scary Movie. And it chronicles the entire Scream franchise and how Scream basically rewrote the rules of modern horror. And so first off, the book is amazing. I think I'm on like chapter 14 or 15 right now, and you're only now just into Scream 4 for an indication of how deep it actually goes. But on top of that, the audiobook is narrated by the guy who is the voice of Ghostface.
Oh, that's so cool.
All right.
Heck yeah.
Fuck, where was I going? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. We'll remember next time. So, hey, that's it for us tonight. So for myself, Ricky Hayes, my beautiful wife, Karina Hayes, Tony Stats and Info Lance, we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, follow, all of that. Our links are below. And like I said, comment, hit us up in the DMs. Let us know what you want to hear. We are excited to hear your guys' input too.
Yes, it's the fandom channel. You guys help control this, so let us know.
And before long, this will be our logo. So we love you guys. We hope you have a wonderful weekend. Whenever you get a chance to hear this, be good to each other. Good night.
Later.
Bye.
Deuce, motherfucker. Hard eyes, motherfucker.
Oh my God.
Large fries, motherfucker.